Peace, peace, peace. Family, this is going to be an audio. All right, I'll show my face after after this church ceremony. Okay, I just want y'all to hear my voice. All right, I just want y'all to hear my voice because I feel like when you hear things from an audio standpoint, you have to start picturing it mentally. Right? And the things that I'm going to be saying in this live, okay, you're going to have to picture it mentally. All right? So I don't want you to really focus on the screen. I want you to focus more so on my voice. All right? Please share this live, family. It's going to be a major live. All right? I promise you I'm going to be going over some information a lot of you have probably never heard of, okay, especially if you're living here in America. All right, I'm gonna say it again. This live, this majority going to be from an audio standpoint. All right, I'll show my face at the end of the live, but I just want y'all to hear my voice because I feel when you hear an audio, it forces you to start picturing it mentally, okay? And again, everything that I'm going to be talking about in this live, all right, you're going to have to picture it mentally, okay? And I guarantee you, the information that we go over in this live is going to be information you probably never heard of. Now, granted, there's going to be people comment acting like, yeah, I knew that already. Okay. I don't know why people do that, but they feel like they need to be. I knew that. I know. It's not about who knew it first. It's about who can put it together. Okay. If you can't put it together, then you don't know anything. Okay. Make sure y'all share peace, peace, peace. All right, to everybody that just got here. We are in church. This is church. Okay. This is church, family. We're going over the history of America. Now, why does that matter to some of y'all that say, why does it matter the history of America? All right, because we're about to dive deeper than the 1600s. Okay? Family, I just want to say I'm honored to be able to deliver this information to you. All right? All right, these are the words of of the universe, of God. So I'm just here to basically relay the message. Okay? Now, right? Everybody turn to your neighbor and say, I'm ready to learn. Okay, go ahead, turn to your neighbor and say, I'm ready to learn. All right, now I want you to turn to your other neighbor and say, I'm ready to rise. All right, I'm ready to rise. I'm ready to learn and I'm ready to rise. I can't rise until I learn. I have to learn first and then I can rise. Learn and rise. That's the slogan of the day. Okay? All right. Now, how many of us believe, and please don't, again, please, y'all, please don't try to act like something else because we're having this live. Please be yourself. All right, because I'm going to be asking questions, and I'm just here to pick some brain, just to test what you know. All right? Now, how many of us truly believe, all right, that civilization started in Africa? Comment 8 if you believe that is true. Comment 7 if you don't believe that is true. All right, and please don't switch your answer just because you might see what I post. What do you truly believe? All right, for everybody that is watching, everybody that's hearing, do you believe that everybody originated from Africa? Comment 8 if you feel like everybody did not originate from Africa. Comment 7. And again, this is a safe space. No one has to brown nose. Okay? It's a safe space. All right? Thank you, Chance. Right? Now, I was taught that everyone originated from Africa. I was taught also that my people, skin complexion, originated from Africa as well. So a lot of us grew up believing we're from Africa. All right, even comes in the stories of talking about the boats bringing Africans over to America. All right, that's how you have the correlation to African American. You got a lot of Americans that are darker tone or brown paper bag skin complexion that are calling themselves African American. All right, a lot of people don't know the word African is actually a Roman term. Comment 8 if you knew that the term Africa is a Roman term. Comment 8 if you knew that. Comment 7 if you did not know that. Africa is a Roman terminology. Okay? All right, because we have to remember, Rome ruled for a very long time. Okay? So for those that are calling themselves African, you're literally saying you are up under Roman jurisdiction or Roman dominion because you're still under the name. All right, picture this. Let me make you an example. Let's say I find me a plot of land that people are there. I conquer it. All right, I conquer it. And now I'm calling it Mahatheria. All right. Now let's say I rule for 10,000 years. Now all descendants now think they Mahatherians. All right, not knowing that that land was called something else before it was called Africa. All right, just like over here in America. America don't understand. America had a name before America. Did y'all know that America means land of the serpent people? Did y'all know that? Did y'all know that America, Amaruka, all right, meant the land of the serpent people? All right, this is where your Kundalini energy comes in. For those that knows about the Kundalini energy. All right, we was always taught snakes were bad. All right, we was always taught snakes was bad. Now let me ask y'all something. The land of the serpent people, for all you scary folks out there, snakes is not evil, all right? Again, we're going to get into it. This was the land of the serpent people, all right? I'm not going to say reptilians, wouldn't say that, all right? Because now we're getting into non-human form people. And I'm sticking on the human form people before we get, that deep. All right? So, we're going to talk about a lot of things, y'all. We're going to talk about a lot. All right? So, understand, America, the land of the serpent people, Kundalini, serpentine energy, wisdom keepers. All right? So, the people that was in America was the ones that held the wisdom, family. That's why people around the world came over here. Okay? So understanding this, let's keep going. All right? We got to understand who the Atlantean priesthood was. All right? America was known by ancient tribes as the land of the immortals, serpents, gods, and sages. All right? The Mayans said the gods came from the east, meaning across the Atlantic, but also returned west. Okay? So if the gods came from the east, but they returned west, you have to understand where we are. We're in the west. Okay? We in the west. All right? So, again, old map labels North America. All right? The Moors used to call it, I might be saying this wrong, a Mexum. All right? Natives called it Turtle Island. All right. Europeans documented it as Almorica. Okay. All right. The so-called slave trade narratives overwrites the reality that millions of so-called Africans were really already here. All right. Now understand, both Africa and America are pieces of the same original empire. Y'all remember, it mirrors each other. It mirrors each other. All right. They was literally shipping natives to Africa before they started shipping Africans to America. All right. So when I made that post, a lot of people say, yeah, we were here first. That's not what I'm talking about. Do y'all understand? There were Native Americans being shipped to Africa way before Africans was getting shipped to America. I don't think y'all understand how many years we just jumped back, y'all. I'm not even talking about, we was already here. Like, I understand that, but do you understand that there was a slave trade sending Native Americans and Moors, okay, to Africa? So that whole 1600s African slave trade, that shit was new. My bad for cussing. I ain't supposed to cuss on Sundays. All right, that was new. All right. No, I don't need to find out we enslaved white people. That's nothing. You know what I'm saying? Slavery was just a part of business. That's like if everybody got into avocados and you had an avocado farm. You know what I'm saying? It was property. People were property, no matter what skin complexion you was. So you know what I'm saying? It's proved my point. As far as slavery did not start with Africans. It did not start with quote unquote black people. But quote unquote black people holds on to slavery as though the world didn't have to deal with slavery. You see what I'm saying? So again, we have to go a little bit further. All right? Because we have to understand who we are before we even got shipped, family. All right? We don't really know history outside of 1600s. A lot of people don't understand American history outside of 1600s. Oh, yeah. I agree with your divine presence. All right? A lot of folks do not understand where we are, y'all. Okay? Man, again, you are not from Africa. All right? Even Africa's true beginnings do not start in Africa. It starts in America. All them Africans you see in Africa, they started in America, y'all. You gotta go back so far. Okay? It's not new. I know you were taught, well, they found the oldest bones in Africa. So yeah, they told you that. They told you that. You have to build a timeline. You have to build a history timeline. All right? What do you know prior to the 1600s? All right? Imagine getting shipped to America. So meaning, put it like this. Imagine being an African, getting on a boat, getting shipped to America. You're not getting shipped away from your homeland. You're getting shipped home. Oh my goodness. I might gotta say that again. I'm gonna say it again. Let's use Kunta Kinte for example. Kunta Kinte. They threw him on the boat, shipped him to America. And what was he trying to do? He was trying to fight back to get back to where Africa. Little did he know, they shipped him back to his homelands. Okay, the Mayans literally said the kings came from the east, but they returned to the west. Does that not sound like Kunta Kinte coming from the east and returning to the west? All right, so all them African slaves that did get sent here, all they did was get sent home. Man. God. Okay. All right, like it's crazy. Now they coming back. Now the whole language is different, not knowing you've been split away from your people for 20,000 years. I don't think people understand how long 20,000 years is. Okay? I don't think people understand how long. Oh, Holly, I'm done with your profile, by the way. I'm gonna send it as soon as I get off this live. All right, but yeah. All right, but let's keep going. Let's keep going. All right, so here's some facts that they don't teach us in school. All right, it's called the Papal Bulls of the 1400s. All right, the Papal decrees gave European monarchs, Portugal, Spain, permission to enslave non-Christian nations. I don't know if y'all ever heard about the Christian Crusades. All right, Christians was literally going from nation to nation, whooping tail, okay? Whooping butt. And taking names. Okay? All right, I know a lot of y'all don't know about the Christian Crusades. All right, the Papal Bulls of the 1400s. That's Papal Bulls of the 1400s. Y'all look it up. Okay? So again, it gave them permission to enslave non-Christian nations internationally. Not just on their land. Meaning these folks got on boats, went surfing, went sailing. Like, hey, do you submit to Christianity? And if you didn't, you got your damn head cut off. You got thrown on boats. All right? It said that includes the Indios, natives of the Americas, who were labeled as infidels and trafficked globally. We traffic over. That's why you see brown-skinned folks every damn where. Well, it wasn't because of Africa. Africa is not the homeland. Man. All right, let's keep going. Records of American natives in Spain and Africa. Columbus himself took natives from the Caribbeans back to Europe as early as 1493. So Columbus went down to the Caribbeans, all right, threw a bunch in boats and sent them back to Europe. And what y'all think he did when they got back to Europe? Y'all think he went there to say, hey, look at these people? What y'all think happened? It says King Ferdinand ordered thousands of indigenous American people to be sent to Europe as slaves in the 1500s. So when did the slave trades, when did the African slave trade start, y'all? Do y'all know? So deportation was heavy here already. All right, yeah, that's probably why you can't go through the Grand Canyon. There's a lot of history that's here, family. Meaning if you walk near it, it's downloads that you receive. Do y'all understand? We have youth lakes here. All right, pyramids up on the ground. Pyramids in Cuba. They said they got a pyramid in Cuba that's older than any damn mountain in Africa. I say, damn, because y'all got to understand, mountains are nothing but tree stumps. That's another thing. A lot of people don't understand. When you see mountains, you just see a bunch of little trees on it, but not understand, like, yo, that is literally a big tree stump. We don't understand the time of giants when they lived amongst us. Did y'all understand that there was some civilization that enslaved giants? I know it sounds crazy as hell. I know. Just imagine little people enslaving a giant. Imagine having a giant for a pet. You got him on chains. All right? Calling them Sloan. Sloan! Here, Sloan. Sloan come walking, you feel the ground shake. But Sloan is mentally enslaved. It's almost like having a big horse. All the horse got to do is run, but it doesn't. Or an elephant. And don't say that it can't be done, because we see people that enslave elephants. I'm like, all this big ass elephant got to do is move his head one time left, one time right. It's going to break everything. All right? So understand, there were giant people that were enslaved by little people. That's how we got work done at a very high level. Okay? But anyway, let's get back to what we're talking about, because we're not here talking about giants. All right, let's keep going. All right, so once the American Aboriginals were captured, shipped off, converted, or killed, All right, that's when new Africans was brought in. Do y'all hear this? So before them Africans came here on the boats, all right, the indigenous people was captured, shipped, converted, meaning indigenous person. You gonna be turned into a what? A Negro, or were you getting the hell up out of here? I don't think people understood how easily that is when you just bring, you know, like fear. Like you can literally make somebody change their whole set. How many times you seen somebody in a gang, they get hemmed up by another gang and then they start false claiming. Like, hey, you blood? They be like, no, I ain't blood, bro. I ain't blood, bro. That's exactly what happened to us. All right? They was like, you indigenous? We got scared like, no, I ain't indigenous. I'm Christian. That's exactly what happened. All right? That's how we came from Indians to African Americans. Or to Negroes. All right? We used to say we was from a tribe, but then we changed that right after slavery and went to Negroes. Did y'all know you were killed if you said you was not Negro? That's why we went from Negro. Now we saying, oh I'm not the Indian. I'm a Negro, because there was a big battle going on with Indians and you had the slave catchers. You know, the Ku Klux Klan. All right, huge beef with whites and indigenous folks that was already here. Now you had folks that converted. Those folks that was in the middle, meaning I'm African, or I'm an ex-slave, or I'm Negro. You got scared at your set. That's basically what happened. You started false claiming. It's a lot of people out here false claiming, because if you would have said any other thing, they would have beat you. They would have beat you up. They would have beat you up. All right, you would have got beat up. You would have died. Okay. All right, because right after slavery, when people went back to their indigenous name, that's when they can claim land. Did y'all understand? That's where a lot of people started getting land. Not the Africans. You could not get land here if you said you from Africa. That's why you got all these African Americans waiting for reparations. Reparations was never given to African Americans. Reparations was given to the ones that was enslaved, that was indigenous. All right? Why? Because they was prisoners of war. So now you gotta pay. But you can't come and say, oh, I was African. That's why you don't see no African Americans getting reparations. That's why you'll never see that. All right, let's keep going. All right, let's keep going. So remember, before the slave trade, before Africans were sent here on boats, the only reason why they were sent to America is because there were so many tribes being shipped out of America. All right? So what they had to do, they had to bring folks over. Man. All right, so again, the new Africans was brought in, and the two groups were merged under one category. Negroes turned into colored, colored turned into black, black turned into African American. That's what happened, y'all. We started set switching. How many people still call themselves black right now? Man. Oh, man. Right after slavery, we went from Negroes to colored to black to African American. God. What are we doing? Yeah, what set you claim? Oh, I'm African American. Like, boy, ain't no set, boy. That ain't no tribe, boy. Man, what's that you claim? I'm African American. That ain't no tribe, boy. Better say Nigerian American or something like that. Boy, that ain't no. Start saying, boy, that ain't no tribe. I'm black. Girl, that ain't no tribe. Girl, that ain't no group. Yeah, man, what y'all want to be called next? The woke ones? The hell are we doing? It's like we the only group that does switch names. We playing musical chairs. This generation we're gonna be African American. This generation we're gonna be black. This generation we're gonna be Negroes. This golly, white man just been white man. Damn, what are we doing? What are we doing? But anyway, let's keep going. All right. So it says so many so-called African Americans, all right, can't trace their families back to Africa. If you ask any African American right now, okay, you say you're from Africa, what part of Africa? They say, I don't know. Or they say, well, I looked at my ancestral genealogy, not knowing ancestry has already been exposed. You got all these people going to Africa's ancestry. Of course they're going to say you from Africa. That's the whole point, to get your mind off of America. Okay? All right, now, you might be asking yourself, why ship Americans to Africa? Because I know you didn't learn this in school. Why ship Americans to Africa? Why ship Americans to Africa? Comment 8 if you want to know the answer to that. Because that should be your next question. After you learn that before Africans were shipped to America, ask yourself, why was Americans shipped to Africa? Whoa, wait a minute. They let you know there was some Africans, there was some Americans that got shipped to Africa, right? And they went and got them same descendants from them Americans and shipped them back to America. Kunta Kinte was already American. Kunta Kinte was already American. He was returned to his homelands when they put his ass on that boat and brought him back to America. That was the Matrix. But what they did was cut that piece of history out and say, hey, no, you came from Africa. Now you got all these African, quote-unquote, Americans saying, we got to go back to Africa. Now you got guys like Marcus Garvey pushing that Pan-Africanism. Go back to Africa. Guys like Dr. Umar Johnson. We got to go back to Africa. I got my citizenship. Man, anybody go get their citizenship anywhere. These people getting deported from America can get their citizenship. They just got to get their paperwork together. We are not from Africa. Something was always in my soul. That's why I never bought no dashikis. I never looked good in dashikis anyway. Dashikis felt cheap. No offense, no coaches out there, but all the dashikis I ever felt cheap. I'm like, this can't be royalty. Get this off my skin. I knew it. I knew something was up when I seen a bunch of white Democrats taking knees in dashikis. Y'all remember when Barack Obama was president? When all the Black Lives Matter, you had white folks taking knees in dashikis. We have never seen that before. That's when I knew I wasn't from Africa. I said, oh, hell no. Not me. Oh, no. All right, let's keep going. All right, now you ask yourself, why ship Americans to Africa? All right, it was to confuse the bloodlines and collapse identity, to remove resistant Moors and sovereigns from their land, to resist ancient civilizations, and to rewrite history. The Great Reset. Welcome to class, y'all. Welcome to church. I want to cuss so bad because I'm so happy to be able to understand this information. But when I see Nancy P on her knees, I said, oh my God. I said, first of all, Nancy P was on the knees. She like 80 years old. I said, she flexible. Then I see that in dashikis. I said, oh yeah, where that money coming from? So then when Trump did that whole backlog on the USD-AID, you remember him and Elon did that whole investigation and it came out that they all got paid? I was like, there you go. I said, there you go. I said, the only way you getting white folks taking these and dashikis if they getting paid handsomely.
All right? And I won't say I wouldn't take a knee in the dashikis if I was white and you paid me. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't say I wouldn't. They paid that woman like $10 to $20 million to put a dashiki on and take a knee. Sheesh. You would do it too. Don't lie. All right. So, it says this was a form of spiritual warfare and empire hijacking. What better way than to ship your whole damn family to a whole nother land and then centuries later, generations later, ship them back? Oh my goodness. We really thought we came from Africa. That is the greatest. I gotta give it to whoever did that, man. I want to shake their damn hand right now because y'all are some damn geniuses. So y'all took us, shipped us, waited for generations. We talking about 10,000 years, okay? And then shipped us back. And we was gone so long that we thought we was from where we was taken from. This is the greatest deception, y'all. All right, I wish I had some popcorn right now. You can't be mad at that. You just gotta be like, damn, we got. This was good. This is great. All right? When I pieced that last piece together, I was like, damn, I didn't know they were shipping us to Africa. I thought they were just shipping us from southeast to the west coast, from the west coast to the north. I didn't know they was literally shipping us out of here internationally. I did not know that. I didn't know that. So they probably got slave boats in other countries. That's where them damn boats at. That's where them damn probably museums at. Because if you think about it, y'all, no other country really talks about their slavery, do they? We the only ones. Man, yeah, man, that's a good ass move. Yeah, it was international deportation. Imagine getting deported to China. Man. Oh my goodness. I am highly favored and glad the universe, whatever I did in my last life, man. Oh my God. To be able to piece this stuff together, man, that was a master chess move, man. It make you want to slap all the pieces off the damn board and say, man, start over. Start over, man. I wasn't ready. Cause this right here, God, man, this is a beautiful masterpiece. I don't care what y'all say. That is beautiful. That is genius. Oh my goodness. Uproot people, send them somewhere long enough, ship them back to their damn homeland, and they don't even know that that's their damn homeland. Oh my goodness. They like send me back. Kute Kete talking about some damn, take me back to my motherland. Oh, Kute Kete, boy, your name is Toby, boy. Your name Toby, boy. That you ain't got no name in that African name, boy. That African name is a Roman name, boy. Man, I'm hearing them old white dudes in a whole different tune now, y'all. Oh my God. What they say in that movie 12 Years a Slave? He said, you ain't nothing but a runaway from Georgia. Oh my God, I hear that so different now. I hear it. Because we was nothing but runaways from Georgia. They were right. Damn. But all we seen was their skin complexion and called them white devils. No, you're wrong. I'm from Africa. You brought me here against my will. Man, he did you a favor. He brought your ass home. Oh man, y'all heard it here first. All right, y'all heard it here. I'm about to start reporting the news. Y'all heard it here first, okay? All right, all them Africans that they brought to America, they was doing them a favor. They brought them home. They brought them home. They brought them home. Because let's go ahead and go a little bit deeper, okay? And I don't want to ruin any African businesses that I plan on doing in the future. But I'm just spitting facts. All right? Those slaves that was sent over to America, yo, they was shipped by other Africans. Like we feel like we forget that. Do y'all not know the Africans that was shipped to America, they were the poor Africans? Those wasn't rich folks. Y'all act like they went inside of mansions and threw them on boats. Them was poor people that owed debts. It was a lot of indentured servants. You had white indentured servants. You had dark-skinned indentured servants. You had, Spanish indentured servants. It was just a big-ass boat filled with indentured servants. But the whole narrative act like all the boats were just straight brown, black skin. Come on, man, that's not true. Y'all know how piss poor Scottish people were when they first got over here? Y'all know how piss poor Italians was when they first got over here? I'm talking about piss poor. The poe of the pisses. Okay? Yeah. But the whole narrative of slavery is as if it was just quote unquote black people. Why? Because only black people is pushing it. Only black people is pushing it. Who gonna remind you more about slavery than a quote unquote black person? They gonna let you know before you even get. Y'all know how many people told me on my rise, be careful. They don't like us knowing this information. I'm like, who you talking about? The white folks. They try to breed slavery. I'm like, man, shut up, man. Golly. Get away from me, slave. Damn. We're home now. We are home now. Golly. Let's keep going. Because I got something for you Moors out there. I get a lot of people that tell me, you're more. All right, so let's talk about it. Shout out to all my Moors followers as well, because again, it's all love, y'all. And I don't want nobody to think that I hate Moors or Moors hate me. No, we love each other. We debate. That's all it is. It's no hate at all. All right. The Moorish community is one of the strongest communities you can find. Okay. All right. The Moorish Empire is one of the strongest empires you can find. All right. All right. So it says the Moors. They originated around 3000 BCE to 1700s. I'm gonna say again, 3000 BCE, 1700s. Who predates the Moors? All right, the Atlanteans. All right, the Atlanteans was 12,000 years prior to the Moors. Okay, Atlanteans was 12,000 years prior to the Moors. Y'all have to remember the Moors was the custodians of civilization. They was the custodians, meaning the helpers. Okay? You got to understand what a custodian is. All right? They were the helpers. All right? All right? They were the helpers. No, not taking nothing away from them, but they did not create anything. They did not create they were the custodians. They carried what was already created, if that makes sense. No, I wouldn't say they're the desk workers. No, because they played a major part. They played a huge part. So I don't want to sound like I'm diminishing them. They played a huge ass part. That's why I say they was very important. All right, because they was the custodians of civilization. They was the ones that was carrying out the idea, but they did not create the idea, if that makes sense. Yeah, they turned it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yep. All right. So so again, 12,000 years before the Moors, there was the Atlanteans. All right, the Atlanteans. Okay, and yeah, good point. She hate me 98. Damn. Good point. In every group family, you have good guys, you have bad guys. All right. All Moors aren't bad, okay? Just like all white people aren't bad, all quote-unquote black people aren't bad. All right, every group has their good people. Every group has their bad people. Does everybody understand that? Yeah, I'm going to get to there. All right, so we got the Atlanteans. All right, so who predates the Atlanteans? All right, we got the Lemurians. All right, the Lemurians. I hope I'm saying that right. This is the Mu people. MU. All right. They predated 20,000 years before the Atlanteans. Okay? Man, I don't think y'all understand how deep this goes. And that's why I say you can't just stop at one, oh yeah, I'm a Moor. Yeah, I'm a Sumerian. Yeah, no, you're not. Okay? No, you're not. If you have anything that predates you, you're not that. Okay? That's not what you are. All right? Who predates the Lemurians? Who predates them? That's where it comes in the Anunnaki. All right? Pre-Earth colonizers. Okay? That's your Anunnaki. The new. Okay? Yeah. Yeah. But Moors are not the Lemurians. I don't want you to think those are the same thing, because they're not. Moors wasn't even thought about. It wasn't even considered. All right? Now, before the Anunnaki, all right? Because, again, we try to go as deep as possible, family. All right? This is your prime creator lineages, etheric builders, non-physical originators. All right? Non-physical originators. I hear a lot of people talk about the reptilians. I see a lot of people talking about, non-mortal beings. And that's why we have to understand how deep this goes, family, because you have races that are getting manipulated by these non-physical beings. DNA manipulation. Okay? If I can manipulate one race to think another race has dominion over them, oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Do you not understand what I can do with that paradigm? Do you not understand what I can do? Man. Do you understand what I can do if I can make one group of people think another group of people is oppressing them? Do you not understand how much work I can get done by distracting that group of people? And also the group that is getting accused of oppression, now they got to deal with hearing, your people enslaved us, your people enslaved us. So they're fighting us, it wasn't me. It was. So it's all, and I'm not saying validate nothing. I'm just saying it's a bunch of nothing. While that is going on, do y'all understand what is being built above you? Man. All right. Now, the Lemurians and the Atlanteans eventually were at war with each other. Let's talk about it, y'all. Let's talk about it. Let me say it again. The Atlanteans and the Lemurians were at war with each other. I'm going to say it one time because it's going to bring in my point that I was making. The Lemurians, who were 20,000 prior to the Moors, the Atlanteans, who were 12,000 years prior to the Moors, okay, were at war, family. So while this is going on, guess what? It leaves you vulnerable. When two people are at war, it leaves someone vulnerable, or both sides vulnerable. Divide and conquer. Divide and conquer. Divide and conquer. All right? So now fast forward. That's how you got these Moors that ended up getting shipped to Africa. Okay? Because again, they got swept. They got swept under. While the Atlanteans and the Lemurians was at war. Okay? Understand what's going on. It wasn't peace at that time. It wasn't peace at that time. We like to believe before, quote unquote, Europeans got here, everything was peaceful. That is not true. Right? It's not true. All right. So again, because again, y'all remember the point we made where Americans were shipped to Africa way before Africans were shipped to America? We have to understand how many years prior to that was going on, okay? I'm saying, now I don't have any proof of this, but I'm saying this had to have started when the Lemurians and the Atlanteans was at war. Do y'all understand this was pre-flood? This was pre-flood. Can I say it again? This was pre-flood. If your information does not predate the pre-flood, throw it away. All right? Y'all know how many people, y'all know how many black power folks told me white people created jealousy, white people created anger, white people create. I'm like, what? Like, how is that if y'all say they only been around for 12,000 years, 5,000 years? You see what I'm saying? Like, people don't be making sense. All right? Even the Moorish Empire was at war with itself. Yeah, exactly. We live smaller versions of the past. Exactly. You see a team now that just start having inner turmoil. Like, damn, we winning. Why are we having issues? It's like some things is not what you would think it would be. You would think winning cures everything. It doesn't. All right, yeah, this came way before the Cabbage Patch Babies, all the lab babies. That's why I'm saying, y'all, all this stuff is not new. It's old. Yeah, it's old. Same way black people are at war with themselves now. Arguing, you ain't that, you ain't from my street, you ain't from there, but you ain't from my neighborhood, you ain't from my set, cuz. You ain't from my set, blood. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Yeah, the Cabbage Patch Babies. Yeah, that's way newer though. That's new. All right, that's new. Let me ask y'all this: if y'all understand that there was non-physical forms that could create physical forms, what does that sound like? What does that sound like, y'all? What does that sound like? If I can create people, what does that sound like? I'm gonna see if y'all gonna say it, because I don't need to say it. What does that sound like? If you had a group of people that literally created other people, doesn't that sound like gods? Do you know how many folks that are religious would say, no. Like, shut up. You don't know nothing about the Atlanteans. You don't know nothing about the Lemurians. You don't know nothing about the Moors. You don't know nothing. You don't know about nothing. Okay? All right? The Christian Crusades literally went around globally enslaving people if you did not get down with Christianity. Do Christians know this? No, they do not. All right? You was beat to sleep if you said you wasn't Christian. Yeah, you got folks, you got stories like your stories of Yakub. Literally a man that created a whole civilization of people. All right, but then it makes you think, well, who created Yakub? Who created Yakub's people? You see what I'm saying? Because I'm like, yo, how high does this go? How high does this go? And I can't have these thoughts if I'm religious. Because a religious mind is not going to allow you to ask these questions. Okay. Yeah, it was really get down with Christ or get beat. Gangs, what? Straight up. Boy, they came in them horses. Boy, they rolled in with king heads. Oh my God, imagine you seeing army of 20,000 coming your way. You hear them before you see them. Let me say that again. You hear them before you see them. Back then, y'all, it was things like war drums. You know how, imagine some of y'all probably live in peaceful neighborhoods. Y'all know when y'all hear loud music and it'd be rattling and things like that, disturbing the peace. All right. You know how, the thought that comes to your mind. Now imagine if you heard a sound that you knew that meant, they coming to wipe your whole history away if you don't get down. You hear them before you see them. All right, let me do a best imitation. All right, sounds something like this. Just imagine you just in the kitchen eating with your family, y'all having dinner, and then you do. Your little son like, Dad, what is that? Dad, what? Dad, you hear that? Now, your daddy know what it is, though. Your daddy starts saying, everybody, get over here. Your kids like, what's going on? Your wife like, honey, what's going on? Your daddy know what them drums is. Because somebody told him. Everybody, now he got the ghost face. All right? Now he pushing his family inside of a hidden tunnel his family didn't even damn know about. Man, they coming. I gotta cuss, y'all. I gotta cuss because I gotta bring the emphasis. All right, they coming through to kill shit. All right, that's what happened. Doom. All right, they probably stop out 20 miles out. Okay, now they probably stop about 5 miles out. They'll send somebody in on a horse. They send a little messenger. You know, he got his scroll, his instructions. He asks, who is the leader here? Who is the leader here? You know, everybody come out, because they worshiping whatever they worship. Rightfully so. Okay? All right, the leader come out and say, I am the leader here. They hold up this big ass scroll and say, do you submit to Christianity? And if you said no, man, he rolling that scroll up and turning around and riding back to his platoon. Okay? And then the music begins. They about to kill shit. That message about to go back and say, yes, they said no, they will not submit to Christianity, meaning they are witches and we need to burn them down now. That's what happened, family. And after they burn your whole city down, okay, they literally reclaim it as a Christian city, as a Christian nation. That's how they was killing shit. Oh my goodness. Again, y'all might not believe that. It's okay. All right, it's okay. Look up the Christian Crusades. They was hitchmen sent out to kill shit. Yeah, kill everything if they say no. Y'all know y'all seen that movie 300? Yeah, it was Get Down and Lay Down. When King Xerxes sent all them, hey, King Leonidas, you are a very great warrior. We could use you on our side. What do you say? King United said, never. Me and my people would never. Our women and children would rather die than be slaves. Goddamn. What? Yeah, man, a lot of people died up under the Christian Crusade. Yeah, it wasn't no negotiations. It was either, do you submit? As soon as you said something other than yes, man, they slapped the taste out your mouth. Man, yeah. And then by the time you hear stories, they didn't have no news channels back then. They didn't have no news channels. So what they had was, word spread fast. Like, hey, y'all, when y'all hear that, doom, 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 doom. Hey, man, get down and lay down. Hey, get down and lay down. You had folks meeting them. Hey, you didn't got to ask us, man. We submit. Y'all see our crosses. If you done had that cross waved up, man, they killing shit. Doom, 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 doom. And that's why the Muslims don't like the Christians, y'all. It all makes sense now. It all makes sense. It makes sense. I'm not saying one is right and one is wrong. You know, both are wrong, but I'm just saying, it's history that goes deep. I understand why a lot of people didn't like the Christians, because they came through killing shit. Do. What? Man, what? They was putting folks on crosses. They was putting folks on crosses. Man, way before they put Jesus on the cross. Y'all thought Jesus was the first one on the cross? Man, no. He was like the 1,204th person on the cross. All right? That was the way they was doing things. They was killing shit. What? Blood bath. They stone your ass to death. If you don't die there, they put you on the cross. And they have the whole city look at it so everybody can spread the word. That's what they did. Now you go to, hey man, we are Christians. Because if not, man, you see what they did to Bubba? Man, what? We Christians over here. That's what happened. And that's why you people now saying that you're Christian. Because your people got beat to sleep if they didn't. Just like in slavery. You didn't have a choice. You didn't have a choice. All right? So again, know your history. Know your history, because if not, you will keep repeating the same history. All right? Not sometimes, every time, family. Okay? Not sometimes, every time. All right? Message of the day. All Africans originated from America. I know y'all don't understand that history yet, but if you missed this live, make sure you watch it. I'll post it up. I'll title it, Africans are really from America. And I'm not talking about the Africans that are here, family. I'm talking about the Africans that are over there. Because I got a lot of people that came and said, oh, you must have seen some Dane Calloway. Shout out to Dane Calloway. But Dane Calloway was talking about the indigenous people that's here that turned into slaves. Okay, we're going even deeper and letting folks know that the actual Africans that's in Africa was actually sent over from America. It's a little deeper. That's why I'm saying that it's a great connection. You have to be able to connect it all. Every African that is an African American right now, you was already here. Every African that's in Africa right now, they really don't even know their history. Have you ever really actually sat down with a Nigerian and asked them of their history? Have you? Nobody really checked them, do they? Nobody really asked them about their lineage or their history. Nobody ever does. Because they just get coined as the motherland. Have y'all ever really sat someone from an African country down and asked them, do you really understand your history outside of 1400? Next time you ask your African friend, what is their history? I promise you they don't know. All right? You got Africans laughing at Americans because they think Americans don't know their history. No, Africans don't know their history. They don't. All they say was, hey, I'm from Sierra Leone. We were rich at one point. Okay, what about before that? Okay, what about before that? Somebody said Nigeria was named after a white woman. Hey, I don't know. I don't know. I ain't seen that yet. Well, I do my research. I wouldn't doubt it. Because I know Africa is named after Rome. Rome named Africa. Yeah, go ask them. If you got African family, go ask them. Ask them, hey man, where did our family come from? Nigeria? Well, we was always in Nigeria. To actually think that they was always there. No one messed with y'all? You see what I'm saying? You mean tell me it was slavery going over the whole damn world? Y'all just got the privilege to just stay where you at? Man, get out of here. Get out of here. Nobody know where they at. Hey, nobody know where they at. To be real with you, if you really sit down and think about it, nobody knows where they are. Hey, man, this is so funny, man. You have to laugh, y'all. You can't be mad. You can't be mad. No one knows where we are. Yeah, Africanus was a damn explorer. When they told me, go back to Africa. You got Umar Johnson. We got to go back to Africa. What are we talking about? At least get your information right. At least say the original name. Yeah, Al-Kabulin. I don't know if I'm saying that wrong. I apologize if I'm saying it. But yeah, that was the name before Africa. Yeah, everybody confused, man. You go to Africa right now, they don't know they land neither, man. They don't know they land neither, man. And that's a natural fact, and a way I love the attention. All right, family. Comment 8 if you learned something today. Comment 8 if you learned something today. Let's get it. Let's get it. Alkibulani. Okay, Alkibulani. Akibulani. Okay. All right. Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention before I go. Our Father's Day sale was supposed to end today. But I keep forgetting I'm a damn father too. So I'm here to extend that sale until the end of the month, family. It's Father's Month. Forget a Father's Day. We're doing a Father's Month sale, all right? Meaning you can do a living trust for your father, for your child's father, any father, all right? Because men, we need to be built correctly, all right? Another thing that I noticed, all right, we blame women for being this, being that. If women had true leaders, all right, in the correct leadership, all right, I don't think we'll see a lot of them doing the things that they're doing. I don't think a lot of our complaints would be what it is. Now, I'm talking about two things at one time, okay? Again, everything that we see right now, all right, I definitely believe once the men get stronger, once the men gets, and I'm not talking about physical, you can be big as hell, but with the mind frame of a rat, okay? All right? So I'm talking about strong mentally, all right? Information-wise, financially. I'm not even talking about just having a bunch of money in the bank account. I'm talking about understanding finances, because having a bunch of money and understanding finances is two totally different things, okay? So we are doing a Father's Month sale. All right, trusts for fathers are $500. It is going to be an irrevocable living trust. Why? Okay, why do we recommend that? Because if it's irrevocable, all the property that you put into that irrevocable trust, it cannot go into probate. If you have a revocable trust, your property can still go into probate. Okay? And probate is where banks win. Probate is where, you know, houses are taken. Property is taken. All right? So we want to do the necessary approaches. We want to add a dynasty clause to your living trust. It's going to be an irrevocable trust as well. All right? I had someone say, well, why did you make it irrevocable? What if I wanted to be revocable? I said, I'm sorry, because I'm looking out for you. You don't even know what a revocable or irrevocable is. Okay? Now, if you want me to make a revocable, cool. All right, but that's still putting it out. It's still out there. Like it's not. You're not hiding it. It still can go into probate. Meaning, if whatever property, let's say you put your house under a revocable trust, meaning it can be changed. Meaning the trustee can be changed. The beneficiaries can be changed. All right, you're literally. It's not permanent. You see what I'm saying? So you want it to be irrevocable. All right, irrevocable cannot be sued. If your property is in a irrevocable trust, it cannot go into probate. Irrevocable trust instantly takes that property out of probate. All right, that's why we are creating irrevocable living trusts adding the dynasty clause, all right, for all fathers that are interested, all right, all mothers out there, all right. If you have a man that's been doing this thing, been providing, all right, been providing, okay, you know he's working hard, get him a trust made, all right. Now, we're not talking about dynasty trust, that's next level. We're talking about just living trust right now, all right. We're doing 500 living trusts, all right. Yeah, dynasty trust is more generational, but it's way higher, all right. That's way higher, all right. Remember, so our sale is 500 for a living trust. We can add a dynasty clause to the living trust, which basically pushes the living trust 21 years after you pass, all right. After you pass, you still have 21 years as far as how that trust is established, all right. But yeah, if you have a dynasty trust, you don't got to worry about none of that, all right, because it's literally 100 years plus. All right, now I do have a price for that. It's nowhere near 500, okay? But if that's what you are interested in, all right, that's more for the family structure. All right, that's more for your generation. All right, that's what the Rothschilds use. That's what the Walmart family use. That's what your billionaire families use to basically protect assets generationally. All right. All right, so next, but again, our sale that we have is for the living trust, the living irrevocable trust. If that is something that you're interested in, go ahead and DM me, #fathers. All right, you can get that done for 500. We are also doing a sale for fathers as well. Again, you can be a mother and get this for your father, or you know a dad that needs this. All right, we are also adding our 1099 series full blueprint. All right, because after you get this trust, and after you start putting property in there, you need to know how to assess the tax as well. All right, because that's money on the table right there that you can also claim for the trust. All right, so we want to add a tax class and also the trust. So altogether, it's a $750 package, family. All right, $750 package. Again, that comes with the irrevocable living trust with a dynasty clause. All right, that exceeds 21 years after death. All right, and also it's going to come with the 1099 series full blueprint, all right, to be able to assess the tax for the trust. Not just for the trust, any damn account. Rather it's an estate trust, rather it's an LLC, okay, that 1099 blueprint is going to show you everything you need. All right, so again, you get all that for $750. If you don't want the tax class, that's fine. You can still get the living trust built for $500. This sale ends next month on the 1st, family. This is only for this month. We're gonna go ahead and finish this month out, give this sale, all right, for all the fathers. This month is for you. This month is for us. All right, get established. All right, I got all my properties in trust. I'm good. Okay, fathers, get this established. All right, so you never have to worry about losing a house. You never have to worry about losing the car. Now, getting this trust does not mean you don't have to learn how to perform, family. All right, because you still need to know how to perform. Just because you put the property inside of this trust does not mean you don't have to perform. A lot of people think just because I got a trust, I don't got to do this, I don't got to, like, no, family, you still have to execute. You still have to enforce on behalf of the trust, because you might get some corporation that play with you. All right, meaning, for instance, let's say you put your house inside of an irrevocable trust, and then I'm the financial institution that you're going against, and then I go and say, hey, you owe me, and I go put your house into probate, but you never mention that your house is in a irrevocable trust, and by law it can't be in probate. If you don't say that, if you don't administer that, guess what? I just took your house. Guess what? Easy. You know why? Because you didn't enforce. You thought a piece of paper was going to stop something. You got to come forth and enforce. Now the judge say, oh yeah, this is out of our jurisdiction. This can't be in probate. You got to stand up. It don't just happen just because, okay, I got trust now. I don't got to worry about anything. No, my friend. No. Right? So I would highly advise for everybody that does get a trust this way, I would highly advise you also to tap into my We the People subscription. We're actually meeting today, all right, at 7 p.m., all right? But we meet every single week, all right? It's a weekly PowerPoint, all right? It gives you information on this journey that you're going to need: trust law, contract law, equity law, all right? Everything that you need. We meet every week, all right? That is $88 a month, okay? So I would, if it was me, I would go ahead and get that trust built, get the 1099 class, and also get go ahead and get the subscription and be a part of a community. All right, because that's what we're doing here. And that's what I'm going to be really spending my time, you know, after I retire, you know, building with that subscription group that I have. All right, because they're way more, no offense to anybody that's not in there, they're way more, they're way further than a lot of people that's not in that group. You know, we go over a lot of information, AI information, how to turn your AI into your genie. All right, your fairy godparent, dealing with finance documents, drafting certain court documents. All right, we go over that. We talk about dimensions. We talk about spirituality. All right, we talk about a lot of things in there, family. Again, it's $88 a month. All right, and again, so just imagine being able to have a trust built. Now you have that 1099 class. Now you're in weekly classes as well. All right, we meet for an hour and a half. All right, it's not long at all. All right. So again, before I go, if this is something that y'all are interested in, go ahead and shoot me a DM. All right, this sale ends. All right, the 1st of July. Again, if you want the trust Father's Day sale, shoot me a DM, #fathers. All right, so we can go ahead and get you underway. For everybody that's already sent and already sent their questionnaire answers, all right, we are working on those. All right, we will be pushing out a lot of trust tomorrow. All right, my team doesn't work on the weekends. All right, but we do a lot of this enforcement and also structuring Monday through Friday. All right, unless, you know, I'm kind of up and I just kind of get to it. All right, so that's what it is. All right, that's what it is. Somebody said, do we get a refund if we... All right, that's what it is, y'all. Peace, peace, peace. Make sure y'all have a good day. Make sure y'all read the contracts. Make sure you understand what land you're standing on. And make sure y'all share this live, family. You can save a soul today. You can save a mind today. All right, for those that missed this live, I'm going to post it right after this. Make sure y'all watch it. Peace, peace, peace.